Welcome, everyone. We are live. It is Thursday. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Hello. Tomorrow is Good Friday, so um it's a great day. And today I called it Follow the Pattern for a reason. When you learn how to follow a pattern, especially in the very beginning, you stick with it, And when you stick with it, you get well, he is early today. He is real early. Anywho, when you follow the pattern, you learn about the thing you're doing and you learn about you. And there will come a time where you can bend yourself within that pattern to master it. You know what I'm saying? So you use the pattern because it keeps you, for lack of a better phrase, on the straight and narrow. So here's the other example. Remember, yes, home and supper was pretty much well done because we followed the pattern. I gave him what I know he needed, which was step-by-step instructions. He followed those instructions, and supper was amazing. And this was only day 2 for him in learning. He says, "Ma, this is a lot of work. I see why you're tired." And I was like, "Yeah, it's all good, but we'll get it." And so the point here is when you follow the pattern is there for a reason. Everything has a pattern. To make shoes, there's a pattern. To make a handbag, to make pantalones, to make a dress, there's a pattern. To make a cake, there's a pattern. To make muffins, there's a pattern. To make scones, there's a pattern. To make wine, there is a pattern. Everything that we do has a pattern, right? Everything that we do has a pattern. So when we start practicing being principles, you're living, you recognize that there is a pattern to life. The pattern to life is we get in a mood, imagine, and that mood makes us feel what we imagine. And if we persist in feeling what we imagine, we expect the pattern. This is it. That's the pattern. Change because it's a pattern. If you change the pattern, you are changing the outcome. So this is why when when you're setting up an outcome, you choose the pattern according to the outcome. You do not go to the seamstress and tell her you want an evening gown, but here's a pattern for a tuxedo. What now? The seamstress can only create for you the pattern that you give her. This is what life does. But because we don't know that there's a pattern, you see, this is the thing. We do know that there is one, but we don't understand it. That's why it looks like, quote unquote, things can be random. Nothing is random because everything follows a pattern. So if you can recognize the pattern, you can enhance yourself. If you, whistling, if you recognize the pattern and you apply the pattern, you will sharpen your skills. It's as simple as that. So this is why I always say to you, it does not matter what your problem is. The problem is irrelevant. There is a pattern to dealing with the problem. And the pattern is this. There is a mood that you will embody. And when you embody that mood, your thoughts will follow the mood. And as your thoughts follow the mood, your words will follow the thoughts. And then your feelings will follow the thought. And then your actions will follow. That is the pattern. If you remember that, you can change anything in your life. Look at the present pattern, and you will begin to understand that you do not fight shadows on the outside. Because the shadow on the outside or the experience in your external life is a pattern. So there's no sense in being upset at what you see. None whatsoever. Because now you're shadow boxing, and that wears you out, makes you very tired. So if you're looking at a problem, look and see, where is the pattern? Well, if you say, I can't decipher the pattern, I don't know what I'm looking at, look to what you are experiencing. If you say, man, this is always happening to me, oh my God, stop everything, stop the presses. The moment you say, oh my God, this is happening to me again, you've just unlocked the pattern. You have. And then you ask yourself, okay, so this is the effect. And every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. So I'm beginning to see this pattern here. This pattern is, I always get treated like ... Or I always try to please people. Or I always try to make friends. I always try to be liked. See the pattern? The pattern has to do with fear of rejection. Well, you're always trying to be liked. You got to be liked. But in actuality, people like what they like based upon their mood. Are you their mood now? Even as a muse, even if you are somebody's muse, you are only their muse based upon the person's mood. So if somebody doesn't like you, it's not you, it's their mood. Plain and simple. So if you follow the pattern of living and being, you will change your life. You see, you'll begin, when you see the pattern, you'll begin to see why people treat you the way they do. And when you see this treatment, you will associate it with your mood and say, wait, so I'm the one generating this mood. And so long as I'm in this mood, I'm going to encounter people who match this mood that I'm in. Well, we have a popular saying in the world, misery loves company. So if you're in the mood of misery, well, you're going to get the company of misery. So what mood are you in? And what mood are you in so much that that now becomes your pattern of behavior? You see, patterns are not the enemy. Patterns are not an enemy, and patterns are not friends. Patterns are patterns. They're just patterns. When you recognize that they're just patterns, you stop saying things like, oh my God, I feel like I'm being punished. I feel like dot, dot, dot. Oh my God. Because then you will do what? You will recognize, wait a minute. This is just a pattern. And to change a pattern, I have to change my mood. But I can't just change my mood once, twice, 3 times a lady. You can't just change your mood. You have to persistently change the mood. And all those things come along to persistently help us change the mood. We like it, for one. We like the fact that we can change, right? So you see, my beautiful friends, the pattern, recognize it. Well, you must recognize it because that'll help you. The moment you recognize your pattern, you can assess yourself to say, I don't like this particular pattern. See, we used to have a seamstress when I was growing up. And so for every dress that my grandmother had, I had a miniature to that dress. Because the seamstress would make it that way. Those were the good old days. See, when I went to school, we had uniforms. And when you were there for the next school year, you would get a pattern. A pattern would be sent home. And you could either buy it ready-made, or you could be like, I had a seamstress, right? But you always got a pattern. You always got a pattern. So my beautiful friends, today, recognize the pattern in your life. It doesn't matter what listen. In TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, there's a certain pattern of expression that something will have. So empty heat or deficiency heat, its pattern is it comes on late afternoon. You just start to feel warm internally late afternoon, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. That pattern, so if somebody says, oh my God, I don't know what it is, but around 3, 4 o'clock, I just get so hot and I just, whew, girl, I don't know what that is. But because you know the pattern, you know what you're looking at, you know what you're dealing with. right? Any kind of ailment has its pattern. Mm. So, whatever it is you are going through, it is a pattern. Simple. It's a pattern. So, when you recognize that it is a pattern, in order to change the pattern, you got to redesign it. That's how you change it. So instead of walking around with the pattern of no confidence, which is really challenging, looking people in the eyes or shaking hands or feeling anxious when you're meeting new people, you see that pattern? That's the pattern of no confidence. So what would the pattern of confidence look like? You're sure of yourself. You're curious. Sometimes you're eager to understand, wanting to grasp the idea. So you see, anxiety has a pattern. Depression has a pattern. OCD has a pattern. This is the saving grace of the laws, in that once you see the pattern of it, you can change. And it is that uh, recognition that could make you feel as if the laws are now alive and they embody something. Right? So take your time. You see, don't beat yourself up. Oh, I don't get it. I don't know what to do. I'm trying. Man, I wish you guys were here sometimes to witness the antics of popcorn. I wish you could see his antics. And we think they're antics. We think he's just trying to be cute. But there's a pattern he's following. He is learning how to eat for himself because mama still feeds him. He's learning to run and hop and fly. This is why he's flying on everything he can possibly reach. It's a pattern of growth. Oh my God. I gotta tell you about this one. It's kind of off topic, but we're gonna touch it. As I was at work last night, this lady came in. She had her baby on her hip. It's about 6 months. Oh my Lord. I turn around and her hands are full because you don't want to leave him in the car when you're out doing your grocery shopping. You take him with you. And since she was only running in for a moment, I knew she was going to need help. So I said, is there something I can help you find? She says, well, my husband really likes his wine, but for the life of me, I do not remember. I said, come. I said, there must be a picture. If you close your eyes and you think about it, what? She goes, give me a minute. She goes, you know what? I think it is French. I said, okay, let's start there. So I take her down the French aisle, and then within like 3 steps, and she goes, there it is. And she picks it up. And I said, I'll take it. And she turns around. Now, all this time, I'm looking at that baby, and he's so cute. And I said, look at you, handsome. I said, Mommy, where's my hat in this cold weather? She goes, I know, right? I said, listen, it's all good. You just were hopping out and hopping in because you're not going far. It's not like you take them for a walk, but you know how little they are. She goes, I know. She goes, you must be a mother. I said, girl, how you can tell? Oh, It's a pattern of behavior that mothers have, isn't it? It is. I don't even care who it is. If I see you outside, like if I'm working with you and I see you and I'm like, where's your scarf? Where's your jacket? Mothers have a pattern of behavior. But he was so cute and he gave me the sweetest gummy smiles. He was just adorable with bright blue eyes. I said, "Oh, you're too handsome." And he was just so excited. But the point is, she goes, "You know what? Thanks for helping me jog my memory." She goes, if you weren't here, I probably would have given up." And I was like, "You don't give up. You just take your time to think about it and the image will come back." Because that's what happens. The image comes back. If you take your time, when you stop and you say, "I don't know what to do," that's your cue to stop for a moment and breathe. And once you do that, you begin to jog your memory. And your memory, yes, it'll bring you right to where you need to be. Naturally, because you're asking the question. That's what you're doing. You see, the pattern of jogging one's memory. As I told you yesterday, all of our senses have one outcome: generate an image. That's what our senses do. They generate an image. If you, like, listen, let me tell you something, Linda. I came home last night and the house smells so good. Oh, oh. And in my mind's eye, I was sitting at the kitchen table and slowly eating every bite. And the Riesling went very well with it, let me tell you. But I digress. You see, it's going to emerge that just the smell showed me an image of myself just sitting in relaxation. The smell. So your senses, all of our senses, generate an image. But one of those senses stand out more because you use it more frequently. Habitually, your pattern, hello, your pattern in the way you see and hear and blah, 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 will emerge if you let it. So today, the next time you feel overwhelmed, stop what you're doing and just take several seats and breathe and look at it. Ah, and recognize that it is a pattern of behavior. That is why you were triggered. Because there's a pattern. You might not see the pattern consciously, but those are just with your physical eyes that you might not see the pattern. But with your invisible eyes, the pattern is so blatantly obvious, and that is what causes you to be triggered to behave in the only way that that pattern causes you to behave. That's it. So examine your life, and you don't have to go. This is what I love about the principles. You don't have to go looking and digging for nothing. I like that one line from Tony Stark in Avengers. Hulk says to him, "Yeah, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack." He goes, "Pfft." Tony Stark goes, "Bring a magnet." So what do you think the magnet is? The pattern. It is what makes you see very clearly what you're doing. And when you recognize that you don't try to crush the experience, that you recognize It is the pattern that brings about the experience. So if you want the external experience to change the internal pattern of your mood, which will influence the behavior. Why is that? Well, the principle of correspondence tells us as within, so without, as above, so below. We all have a pattern. Listen, OCD is a pattern. Bipolar disorder is a pattern. Anything you can think of has a pattern. Because the fact that you can think about it means you can recognize it. And when you can recognize it, it means it has a recurring pattern. That is why you can have 1,000 cases and there is but one solution for them. What is that solution? Find the pattern of the thing you are dealing with. And when you start to ask yourself, well, what would I like to become? What you want to become has a pattern. And it starts with the mood. That is the first thread in our pattern. Anywho, let us say hello to everybody who's here. And then you'll get Chime and maybe you'll get Chicken. I don't know. But he was crowing a little bit earlier today. He was. How do you think you know we got a rooster? Uh-oh, because the pattern of behavior. Ooh. Oh, he did something yesterday, my son told me. Remember popcorn? Popcorn's the chicken, right? He's the little chicklet. And they love to explore because that's what they're learning to do, their pattern of development. So Lil Bit was crowing. According to my son, Lil Bit was crowing. Doing his rooster pattern. Popcorn decides he was going to jump on to Lil Bit's back. I think that might have been a bad idea. Remember in Jurassic Park when Newman was talking to the little tiny dinosaur? And it fanned out? OMG. Allegedly. That's exactly what Lil Bit did. Because he's in the middle of crowing, he does not like to be interrupted. Okay? Because they have to follow through with the process, the pattern. They have to follow through with it. And so he moved, he hopped. So Popcorn jumped off his back and he was now looking at Lil Bit. And Lil Bit, I tell you, Lil Bit threw those feathers up and he was being a man. He was being the head cock in the house. Do you see what I'm saying? Because that's what roosters do. To tell you you have annoyed them. They have a pattern. And Popcorn, he did not do anything to Popcorn other than put out those feathers to show him, hey, back up. Mind your business. Mind your business. That's all. Right? Fresh Prince. I digress. So Popcorn is learning something. Popcorn is learning who to jump on and who not. You see, Popcorn loves to jump on Mama all the time. And he jumps on his mother's back. And she'll walk with him on there, and that's not a problem for her. But not Lil Bit. Especially when he's in a mood. Because he's crowing, right? So he's in a mood. He's in his pattern. So, you and I have a pattern. Pay attention to the pattern, and you will realize that when you get upset, you're wasting your energy. Why wasting? Because you're trying to fight the shadow. The shadow is being cast by a pattern. So use the energy wisely to recognize the pattern, modify the pattern so that the external shadow changes to follow suit. Hey, Cyber, Hokey and Elijah. Oh, Renee, darling. Hello. Hey, girl. I see you here in these YouTube streets. Twitter, who's here? Bez is here. Oh, Yoda Green is here. How you doing, Yoda? It's been a while, stranger. It's good to see you both here in these Twitter streets. Who's on Fanbase? I got to get a little closer to Fanbase so I can see the screen because your girl not wearing glasses. Not yet, at least. It's too bright and I have my eyes closed most of the time. We got, oh, the burnt skillet is in the house. Miss Casey is in the house. Miss McQueen. Um, is that supposed to say case or not? Or caseonate? I don't know. I've never said it before, but welcome to the Space Dairy. Oracle Tree House. How you doing, girl? It's been a while, right? It's been a hot minute. Hey, honey. And then Ray Ray is here. Michael is here. If I didn't say your name, I don't see you. Fanbase. You pop into the chat. Surreal is here. But I don't see you. But I see you in the comments. I just don't see you. So, welcome everyone. I don't know if some of y'all are working tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Good Friday. Tomorrow, when we meet, we're going to talk about that by way of the principles. Oh, yes. Oh, you just thought Good Friday was a religious holiday? No, there's a pattern embedded in it. And I'll show it to you tomorrow. Because it goes along with Good Friday. Right? Hello. So, yeah. Truly, truly, take your time. Take your time and observe yourself. And that's what I wanted to tell you. When there's something bothering you, that's your cue to examine it. Because the law doesn't make you go having to look under every stone. It does not. It shows you by way of a pattern that repeats itself. That's how it shows you which one is bugging you so that you can change it. See, it doesn't send you on a treasure hunt, scavenger hunt. No, it shows up, and that's why when you see it, you say, oh, snap, that's the pattern I'm living out. And you see, destiny is a funny word. Destiny is a funny word. Your destiny is dictated by the pattern you live. Your destiny is dictated by the pattern in which you live your life. Anywho, let me sit up and play the chime. I brought it over this morning so I wouldn't have to necessarily get out from under the warm covers. Because I got a pattern, and my pattern is warm bed, okay? I do love it because it's chilly out still. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn the heat back on. It is still cold in the house because clearly the pattern of spring, Mother Nature decided she was gonna make it a capri pant instead of bell bottoms. But you know what? Do you, Mother Nature, do you? Let's get Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every single one of you who showed up today. Oh, indeed. You know I love you. And I will see you on the morrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, indeed. I said that I remembered I have a Zoom meeting tomorrow. As soon as I said it, oh, I was like, oh, snap. Thanks for reminding me. 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you on the morrow. And like I said, I know it's a holiday for some people, so if I see you, I see you. If I don't, I will understand. Because which one of us does not like to sleep in? Hello? Anywho, I shan't keep you because I'm going to go get ready so that I can be on time this morning for work. Anyhow, peace out. I love you.